Thank you all for joining the InsurTech Match program information session today. For those of you who thought that they're joining something else, we actually had an MGA Lab information session last week. So if you were thinking about joining that, it already happened, but we have a recorded session on our website. So if you go to MGA Lab website, we should have a recording there. So please take a look at that. This is the information session for InsurTech Match program. And the information session was created for those startups and startup founders interested in joining the program. If you're interested in mentorship or participating in different ways, you're free to stick around and listen in. But if you want to learn how to join, just let us know separately. Our emails. David, Aaron, myself are actually on the call. So also you can ask us questions on the chat. We should have some question time at the end of the information session, so feel free to keep your questions until then. Or if you have any questions, put it on the chat and we'll try to get to them throughout the program or at the end of the session. All right, so for those of you who don't know, my name is Tony Liu. I'm one of the co-founders of InsurTech New York, along with David Gritz here, and then Aaron, who's our program manager, is also here as well. And you guys will be interacting with us throughout the program if you do decide to join us. So for those of you who don't know us, we run multiple programs to accelerate innovation in the insurance industry. We essentially try to connect people and entities, technology enablers, insurtech brokers, underwriters, carriers, brokers, investors, and other advisors and associations together through the programs you see in the middle. So we do run three different type of startup programs: run early stage startup competition, InsurTech Match program, which is what we're going to talk about today. And we also have another program called MGA Lab for those companies who are interested in creating an MGA business. We run that program in parallel with the Match program. So if you're interested in that, let us know or go to our website for the MGA Lab information. We also host a lot of different educational networking events, including our annual spring conference, which happens March 30, 31st next year. So hopefully you all can join us for that. And then we have a fund. We do invest in seed stage insurtechs. And so we have invested in some of the companies that have gone through our program. We don't automatically invest in them. We only invest probably 1% of the companies we see. But if you're interested, let us know and we can talk more. This is our calendar for this year. We do host events throughout the year. You can see the public events we're hosting on top. There's going to be a couple of webinars we'll be hosting in August and October. And then we'll have an Asian Tech event in November. And then you see the spring conference. For those founders interested in connecting with investors through skiing trips, we actually have a slopes event that we partner with Stacy Brown on from InsurTech Hartford. We also host different type of private events you see here. This is mainly for our carrier broker members, but some of them are available for startups depending on whether you participate in it or not. So InsurTech Match, we have some events in September and November. We'll talk more about these events in coming slides. Really one of our key strengths is our network. We have a very large network in the InsurTech ecosystem. All the different players, the startups in growth stage to early stage to mature stage. We have relationships with carriers and brokers and VCs and other associations. And all of these partners really help us provide value to each other. And that's kind of how we operate. Okay, so we'll get into information about the InsurTech Match program. So a quick overview, who should join? So if you are in the InsurTech, meaning you're a startup that is in the insurance industry, either as distributor of insurance product or you're helping insurance carriers and brokers be more productive, then you're eligible. We typically like startups that have ARR of 250K or above. This is not a hard requirement though, just so you know. We have accepted companies with less ARR than 250, and certainly we've accepted companies with 2, 3, 4 million, 5 million ARR as well. But this is sort of like our average. But we do typically want startups who have multiple customers is typically what we like. And the reason being our carrier and broker partners typically want to work with startups a little bit later stage. So if you had to put that into the financing stage, is typically C to Series B if you're funded. You don't have to be funded to be part of this program. Types of business that we like are MGAs, marketplaces, B2B SaaS, or data providers, basically all of the above. And we do like startups in PNC, life and annuity benefits, basically all lines of business. And we also health can also be an interesting line of business, kind of depending on the year. So why should you join? First is you want to accelerate partnership with carriers and brokers. They're the ones actually funding this program. And if you want to meet them, this is a great opportunity. You also get to meet other founders and mentors through this program. And obviously, you'll meet the founders of your cohort, but we also have founders who have exited and are in later stages. And they actually participate in our program as virtual mentors, along with other carriers and brokers and investors as well. And we also have a investor demo day that is part of the program for those interested. This is an optional thing, but we typically have more than 50 InsurTech investors join that day as on the demo day, and you're able to pitch in front of them. More than $1 billion have been raised by past cohorts, not all through us, but that's that type of caliber of startups that receive funding. Key details. The InsurTech Match program is free for startups because it is paid for by carrier and broker partners. We don't ask for equity or nothing. It's all 100% free. You do have to pay for travel yourself. We guarantee meetings. If you don't have carrier brokers interested in meeting you, then you will not be accepted. So that's really kind of the acceptance criteria. I probably should have acceptance criteria here. But if you apply and our carrier broker has problems that they want to solve through InsurTech, we'll invite you to join us. If they don't, you could be the best, high performing, unicorn potential startup. If there's no interest from our carrier broker leaders, then you will not be accepted. And so that's why it's guaranteed meeting. And it's quite low effort and high value. We only need you to come into New York one day, which I'll share in a bit which state. But you come in one day and have a bunch of meetings. We, guarantee at least like 3 meetings. Some could have up to 10 meetings. And then there are actually 2 optional in-person days that you can decide to join. One day is the day before the actual matching day. And then the other is later on for the investor demo day. And then there are 2 virtual mentoring days as well. So basically one require many other additional benefit that is optional for you. And the reason why we do this is most companies who join our InsurTech Match program tend to be slightly later stage, Series A, B. We know founders, and it doesn't have to be founders. You can send like BPO sales, for example, and they're busy. You guys are running a business, so we don't want to waste your time, and so we really just want you to join the days that make sense for you. These are some of the past cohorts. We've had amazing number of startups go through our program with the past 5 years. This will be our 6th year running it. And as you can see, we see there's a lot of companies who join this program. Typically, we get anywhere from like 35 to like 45 companies join. And if you go back to like 2020, half of them had exited. It's really good, high caliber companies who join the program. These are our current official carrier broker partners in the program who will be making decision on whether you join. This is not a comprehensive list. There are actually probably going to be at least 5 to 10 more carriers and brokers who will be joining as well. They're just not official. So as you can see, it is quite diverse. We have life carriers, benefits, PNC carriers. We have brokers as well. So, many of them are looking for very diverse type of companies as well. So it's a pretty diverse. The core typically tends to be quite diverse. So I just wanted to share a little bit more about what they're looking at. So these are the priorities that these members are currently looking at. This is not a final list. If you're not in this list, if you're solving a problem that is not in this list, it doesn't mean you won't get in because this is probably like 70% complete. We're still receiving priorities from the members. But if you're in this list, then there's a high chance they're going to join us, right? So, data extraction, ingestion, deep fake identification, agentic AI, medical fraud, group benefit sales tools, benefits management systems, AI governance, new benefits, wealth tech. If you're in this space, definitely apply. Sharing warranty, gadget insurance, debt protection for lenders, parametric weather insurance, third-party data. If you're a digital TPA, you have a document management system, underwriting workbench, or fraud analytics in the PNC space, then definitely apply. Again, there are other priorities that our members like. We just don't have the final list yet. So don't, you know, don't be discouraged if you don't see your list, if you're not solving a problem in this space. But if you are solving, then definitely apply for sure. Gives you additional chance of making it. So program process is the following. We have, you can apply on insurtechnoi.com. I believe it's the first thing you see on the website, but you can go to our website and go to the for startups menu and go to the InsurTech match. Application will open till July 12th. Typically, we get about 40 startups join our match day. It should be matched in our selection day. And in September, the education day, this is the optional day for growth stage kind of founders, will happen September 17th. It's also a good day to kind of just come to New York at least a day before, kind of unwind, see, and then connect with the founders. We'll also give you some tips on how to make September 18th kind of productive. And then September 18th is the match day and where you get to meet the carriers and brokers. And then October, November, we actually have a couple of events. So one of them is a virtual mentor day where you get to meet additional sets of carriers and brokers, mentors, investors, and startup founders. And for this meeting, we give you a list of carrier broker mentors that you might want to look at, and you sign up. So it's like kind of reverse. So on the match day in September, carrier and broker decide who they meet on the virtual mentor day, you decide who you want to meet. And then finally, in New York, we have in November 6th, we have an investor demo day. This is for those who are raising money for their company. So it's optional. If you're not raising, then you don't need to pitch. All right. So with that, that's basically the program design. Now we're gonna call up founders of our previous cohort, 2024 cohort, Scott and Kush. They went through the program last year. And so I'm going to, if you want to kind of unmute yourself. And David, are you able to ask questions or you want me to do it?
No, I can start.
Okay, so David's gonna ask some questions to Scott and Kush.
Great. Well, let's start with Scott. We'll go through a couple questions and then Kush. So, Scott, when you joined the InsurTech Match program, what stage was your company in? And can you also, for the audience, explain, what Deep Vector does?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everybody. Great to meet everybody. So we actually, I think when we came out there, we had a valid product at that point in time. We actually had, I think about $100,000 in ARR, had about 30 clients or so that were currently using our platform and growing from there. Yeah, I mean, I felt it was a fantastic opportunity for us. As a matter of fact, I think during this process, we've made introductions to who's now looking to be our largest client that we met out there, which is pretty fantastic. So yeah.
So, Scott, in the time that you got to meet with the carriers on, selection day or demo day, what was that like? Like, what was the setup like? And, what were some things that you did to maximize your experience?
Yeah, I think, well, first off, it was a really nice setup because we had an opportunity to kind of sign up in advance who we wanted to talk to, and select the ones that we thought were important to us. So we had that opportunity, and then at the same time, so did the others. They had an opportunity to kind of sit down and meet with us. We were able to go around to the different tables and different rooms and have one-on-one conversations. And it was in those conversations where you really have this opportunity that you don't normally get, to just sit down with a, potential customer or investor and have a nice long conversation. I should say long. I think there were about 15 minutes for each session, but very valuable for us. I would say that it was really a game changer, for our company to be able to go there and meet some of the opportunities that we had through the process. It was really an amazing event. So.
Great. So, last question, and then I'll switch to Bush is, there was two parts, right? There was like the first time that you came, and then the second time with the demo day. Did you take advantage of the demo day at all? And did you find that, the investors there were relevant or, focused or interested in insurance?
Yeah, a demo day was great. I think that, being able to get up on stage and actually present your product to a large audience, and doing two things. Number one, not only you showing your product and what you do and how it solves problems, but at the same time, you get to meet some investors who get a better idea of who you are as a person, and your personality. And I think that that's really important, as you're going through the process, is to make sure that you're coming there prepared to have conversations, and really present yourself to a lot of individuals at one point in time. If you think about how much time and effort it would take you to go bang on every single one of these doors and open up any of those opportunities, it's just there's no way you could actually do that. So showing up and actually going to it is 1,000% worth doing it. And I apologize. I don't think I told anybody what we actually do, but Deep Vector is, we have a product called Loss Scan, and what we do is we extract claims information from loss runs. We provide analytics around the data for carriers, brokers, underwriters, and yeah, so that's pretty much what we do.
Thanks, Scott. Yeah, so Kush, I'll switch to you. So same starting question. What stage were you at when you joined the program? And can you just, in a sentence or two, describe, what Further AI does?
Yeah, absolutely, David. So, pretty different to Scott. Actually, when we entered the program, it was the first time we ever went to like an insurance event conference. It was just when we were starting up. So when we got there, we were at seed stage. So had gone through like YC did our pre-seed round. Still hadn't raised the seed round, so just did that one round of funding. And I think when we joined, we had like one paying partner and one partner we were doing a pilot with. But since then, we actually had 4 meetings at InsurTech New York that they set up, and one of them turned into a partner. So we've been working with them since then. Started with one use case, is expanding still. So like really good relationship there, and still in conversations with the other 3 meetings we had as well. So like turned out really well. Was our first carrier partner, which today 70% of our customers are carriers or MGAs. So yeah, it was really great, like good exposure to the insurance industry for us. Being our first event, picked up our first carrier partner as well. So yeah, it was a great event for us. And we are an agentic AI platform focused on commercial insurance. So we work with brokers, carriers, MGAs, and automate workflows across the value chain, like underwriting to claims compliance. And yeah, 70% of our partners are either carriers or MGAs, and our first carrier partner was actually through InsurTech New York through the match program.
Thanks, Kush. So, you mentioned kind of in between all of this that you were a YC company. So what's kind of the difference between the YC experience and InsurTech New York in terms of, time commitment and, maybe connections or things that you learned?
Yeah, absolutely, David. So I'd say it's very different in our. So when we started off, I was the first employee, like joined the founders before the product, before revenue, and all of our backgrounds was AI tech, which is primarily what YC is all about. But InsurTech New York gave us more of that insurance front. Like even meeting the other founders, like in our batch, we still talk to them. Like we exchanged notes, and just like learning from their insurance experience has been really good. I think in general, what I'd say is Y Combinator is more like people are like building tech for tech, whereas with InsurTech New York, you can actually partner with an industry like insurance, like get those connects and learn a lot more about the industry you're building for. Like personally, I don't know how applicable this is universally, but I didn't know much about insurance before Further AI. But I think it's a really interesting industry with some great people. And I think that's one of the core benefits, David, that we got from InsurTech New York is that insurance connects that core knowledge in insurance and the mentors through that as well.
Great. So maybe one question for you, and Tony explained when he explained in the agenda that we have the virtual mentor day on Remo. So maybe share how did you take advantage of that? What were some of the groups that you met with, and did you either use it for business development or product feedback? Like how did you use that time?
Yeah, absolutely, David. So I actually think it's the split works out really well, where I think Scott touched on this as well. In the first event, the partners decide who they want to speak with, and at the same time, you get to do a demo to the wide audience. But on the mentor day, you can actually decide and try to speak with people you want to. So what we use that, David, primarily was for product feedback knowledge, like which workflows we should focus on today and just really narrowing our like fit in the market. So it's primarily was like product knowledge, more mentorship on that second event, versus the first was more like actual customer connects and like more revenue focus.
Great. Well, that's the questions I have for the founders. So I think I'll pass it back to Tony, and we can open up to the broader group for questions.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, David, Scott, and Kush. Before we open up for questions, just want to share the website and how to apply. So if you go to the InsurTechNewYork.com website, you can click on this apply now or go to for startups and go to InsurTech Match. And if you click on apply for 2025, you will see this form. And it should take you about 15 to 30 minutes. And don't spend too much time like trying to come up with the best answer. Whatever, like you probably have a lot of materials already, just cut and paste them. And I think I try to keep the text lengths short, so you're not like trying to create essays. And so also a lot of the information you put in here, we end up sharing with the carriers and brokers. So it's better if you can make it a little bit shorter than lengthy. And so you can see not many questions. And we don't want you to attach the sales deck or like an investor deck or something. So that's that. And then one thing I want to just highlight is I mentioned the carriers and brokers who are participating in a program, right, as official partners making decisions. These are the ones you'll meet in the match day in September. When it comes to mentors, virtual mentors, we have probably like 100, maybe 200 mentors that you'll be able to pick from. And they come from many, many more carriers and brokers. I think probably like 30, 40 carriers and brokers, many more investors. So just know that through this program, you're going to be interacting with a lot of carriers and brokers. And then also the investors too. These are some of the past investors as well. So a lot of the information I shared on the video today, information session today is also on the website, like the dates. So take a look at that. And there are also additional testimonials from past cohorts here as well. So you can take a look at those as well. And these are the past alumni companies. I think these links should work. So if you click on it, you can go there. All right. So that's really it. So I'll kind of at this point open up for questions. If you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself and just speak. If you feel shy, you can put it on chat and we'll try to answer from the chat. Any questions?
Yes. Hi, Alex Shavalenko here from Relay 2.
Hello.
So great. Sounds like an amazing program. How easy is it to engage with brokers even before the match day? Because I would imagine they're checking you out. They're kind of going on the website. Like, do they Is it better to have something kind of prepped beforehand to facilitate the matchmaking, assuming you were selected? Like, what would be your advice to,
Yeah,
because September is far away in the startup land, right? So we want to we want to
yeah,
move
there.
faster.
Honestly, like in terms of matching, all you can do is the application.
Yeah.
So, just fill out the application, make it as relevant as possible for your end customer, and
Hmm.
then you'll be selected. If we feel that there's a good match between you and the member, and then you just have to show up and talk to them. We're gonna be sharing before the match day who you're gonna be meeting, the
Hmm.
actual person. So we encourage you to do some research beforehand. One thing I forgot to mention is we will be selecting the application. The deadline is July 12th. We'll let the cohort know who got in by early to mid-August so that you have at least 1 month to plan your travel. And then sometime in between that 1 month, we're going to share who you're going to be meeting and when, so you can prepare those meetings. But one thing I do encourage, if you can, is come the day before, where we will do the education day. And it's just a great way to kind of unwind and also connect with the cohort. We also give you some additional direction, but really main thing is learning some growth stage matters. It's a kind of half a day education session. Yep.
Tony, we've got a question in the chat here. Are there
Okay.
any particular topics the applicants should include in the presentation deck?
I would include kind of the basics, which is like problem, product or solution, market size. If you have some case studies of how you work with current customers, kind of the general kind of sales or investor deck, it will be helpful. Just some people like reading the application answers. I'll be honest, some people skip that and go directly to deck. So it's good to have information in both places. Juliet, Steep. Yeah, feel free to unmute yourself and talk.
Yeah, thanks for this. I just have one question because we are mainly in the Asian countries, Asia Pacific region. We do solutions for brokers, but of course, mostly are designed as per the requirements and the regulatories of this region. So if we go there, obviously we are talking to the US based brokers. Will they have that understanding or some consideration that we will need some time to do some localization for US, or they are looking for the ready solutions that straight away can be utilized or POCs can be done? Because we don't know yet, right? How much could be the differences in terms of what is regulatory wise, what changes we need to do. So is there, I mean, how, or maybe you can answer it in a way, previously the participants from other countries, other regions who are different from US, are they able to do anything or it's just difficult
Yeah,
for
no,
us?
absolutely. I think especially companies who had great success in other countries, and insurance companies underwriting claims that are basically similar across the regions, right? And if you help them in specific areas, typically you can usually come into the US and also help. In fact, many of the most successful insurtechs are not from the US, like Coverage Genius, a lot of these companies are from outside of the US. So yeah, I think there's definitely a potential and chance that carriers or brokers will want to work with you. But it also depends on the appetite of the carrier broker member. Some like to work with earlier stage companies and experiment, or work with, a foreign company and experiment. Some don't. Some are like, hey, I don't wanna be the first customer. I wanna be the fifth or 10th. So it kind of depends. But given you guys have success in India, I assume, Deep, right? I think you mentioned India. We see a lot of India-based companies have success in the US.
Sure, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. Yeah, we will just kind of summarize the interview that David did. If you noticed, one, Scott from Deep Vector, he comes from an insurance background. He's been a broker. I think he's been in the insurance space for 20 plus years, right? And he found value still in meeting these brokers and carriers in our program. So he gets value that way. And then we have Further AI, Kush, who I think there are initial customers that they did have revenue, right? But I don't think maybe they're not insurance, they're from another industry, but they wanted to kind of learn and see if insurance would be the right vertical. And they joined and they found it to be the right vertical. So now they're going all in on the insurance. So that can happen as well. So there's like different use cases. And so hopefully that kind of gave you a flavor of the type of companies who find success. But obviously, if you have good product, that's key number one. And then our care broker has to have a need for your product. All right. There's no other questions. Oh, you had a question, Frank. What happens to someone who does not get selected? Do you provide feedback? So for typically, so we actually run another program separate for MJLF, separate for InsurTech Match called Early Stage Startup Competition in the spring. And that's for earlier stage companies. For those, we actually have investors, investor judges, and carrier judges actually provide feedback. And so we do provide feedback for those startups. But for this case, we're not really providing feedback because we're not trying to find the best startup. We're just trying to find matching startups. So we're not going to be providing any feedback if you don't make it. We will tell you that you didn't make it, but the reason is there was no match. That's really it. Or another reason sometimes we don't accept is if you're part of a past cohort. So once you join a cohort, we can repeat. But those really are the two reasons. So
And
it's better
ballpark,
than Go ahead, Alex.
ballpark, how many people apply and how much support do you
Usually
still have?
get, on an annual basis, probably usually about 120.
Okay,
And
so
so
about
of that, 40 get in. So it's a pretty high rate of acceptance, if you tell. Yeah.
And I'm assuming it's not an issue if you're part of InsurTech startup program, and you can also do
No,
this
we're
match.
definitely open to, many companies join multiple accelerators, and we support that. We're friends at all the accelerator program. They have a need for different purpose. Yeah, and we kind of removed that. We used to call this accelerator, but we removed that word purposely because it's really not an accelerator. And we don't want you to think it's an accelerator because typically accelerators require a lot of time. And it's really just 1 day minimum and additional options. All right. Thank you all. We'll be sending the recording as well. So, but any questions, let us know. But hopefully, I look forward to seeing your applications and reviewing them.